Good morning friends. Today we are going to start new content, that is Shivajirao Patil committee report. Friends, we are discussing the various committees report in respect of cooperative development. Here we have considered two committees report, A Vaidyanathan committee report, M Khushro committee report, and Korean Alak committee report. The fourth one report today we are going to discuss, that is Shivajirao Patil committee's report. Shivajirao Patil committee was known as High Power Committee, and this High Power Committee was appointed in 2004 for developing cooperative movement in India. Just we have discussed the previous three committees objectives. Same objectives have been determined for the appointment of Shivajirao Patil committee report. While considering Shivajirao Patil committee's report, we may have to consider the objectives behind the appointment of Shivajirao Patil committee report. Shivajirao Patil committee was appointed in 2004, and the main objective of appointment of Shivajirao Patil committee report was the same as earlier I told you, that to take a review of cooperative movement in India in respect of completion of 100 years. 1904 we have started cooperative movement in our country, and 2004 we have completed 100 years. And Shivajirao Patil committee's report is related to take a review of cooperative movement in India since 1904 to 2004. Number one. Number two, Shivajirao Patil committee has to take a review of different type of cooperative institutions. It means credit cooperatives, agriculture cooperatives, dairy cooperatives, housing cooperatives, marketing cooperatives, and other cooperative institutions have played vital role in the development of Maharashtra as well as in India. This committee was appointed for taking a review of such type of cooperative institutions in respect of developing Indian economy. As well as second most important objective of appointment of this committee is to take a review of challenges before the cooperative institutions in 21st century, isn't it? And while considering the challenges, how cooperative institutions can solve the problems before cooperative institutions. And for that purpose, committee has taken a review of cooperative movement since 1994 to 2004. Committee has also explained the concept of cooperative movement, concept of cooperation which is necessary for the upliftment of common man's economic welfare. And third one objective is committee has to explain the problems and challenges faced by cooperatives in 21st century. First of all, we may have to consider the role played by cooperative institutions in changing environment. Committee observes that whichever progress we have made since 1904 to 2004, that progress is uneven. Uneven in the sense geographical uneven progress we have seen, as well as within the one cooperative institution, for example credit cooperatives, we have not spread all over India the benefits of credit cooperatives to the members. Number one. Number two, whichever progress we have made, this progress has not given justice to all the members. Number three, while developing cooperative institutions in rural as well as urban area, whichever management committee expects was not found, and so that cooperative institutions have to face number of problems. And so that committee has given the recommendations regarding which type of role has to play by the cooperative institution for cooperative development as well as within the 21st century changing environment. And while discussing the review of cooperative institutions, committee observes that in India 1994 to 2004, 100 years duration, within the 100-year duration, whichever progress we have made is uneven. That progress has not given justice to common man. That progress has not reached to all the persons in the India, as well as all states have not been covered by variety of cooperative institutions in our country. That's why cooperative movement has incomplete progress within the 100 years, and that's why committee has given some recommendations, views regarding the role which cooperative institutions have to play in 21st century, that is changing environment. And which environment has been changed? All of us know that LPG policy we have implemented since 1991. Globalization, privatization and liberalization, we have to face several challenges, and cooperative institutions have also faced some challenges due to new economic policy in respect of production, in respect of distribution, in respect of basic infrastructural facilities development, as well as we may have to consider how cooperative sector is most important in 21st century. As the environment has changed, it doesn't mean that cooperative sector has no chance to develop. Committee observes that yet cooperative sector has a chance to develop in all sectors: agriculture, industry, service sector, basic infrastructural facilities, as well as marketing situation. We may have to work more and more. Committee also observes that within the changing environment, agriculture sector and rural development should be made through the cooperatives. It means rural area and agriculture sector should be developed only through the cooperative sectors. And committee also observes that in millennium goals, for achieving the millennium goals, such as decreasing the poverty, such as increasing the employment, such as developing the infrastructural facilities such as health, and for developing as well as achieving the goal of millennium, cooperative sector is one of the most important sector which can be solve such a type of millennium goals problems of millennium goals, isn't it? And last one, changing environment point we may have to consider that for developing cooperative sector in Indian economy, we have to develop the culture, we have to develop such a type of ethical cultures, moral culture among the members, among the people, those who have participate in cooperative institution, cooperative movement, that culture, we may have to develop the culture, we may have to develop such type of moral among the people as well as among the members of different type of cooperative institutions, that for the nation building, cooperative sector is only one sector within the changing environment also. Though privatization, liberalization and globalization attack on us, only cooperative sector can fight with the LPG policy, and that's why we may have to develop culture and moral values among the cooperative institution, among the various factors of the cooperative institution for developing cooperative movement within the 21st century. Friends, this is the information regarding the new environment in which Indian economy was facing several problems since 1991. Shivajirao Patil Committee's report, before considering the recommendations, we must know that which type of changing environment has to be faced by cooperative institutions, how it should be faced. Next one point we may have to consider the problems and challenges before cooperative institutions, cooperatives. Just I told you that since 1991 we have adopted new economic policy. Within the new economic policy, whichever challenges arises before us, and these challenges are the changing nature of environment policy, and changing nature of environment we may have to know at first, and within the environment how the challenges should be solved. Before that we must know within the new environment which problems arises before cooperative institutions. Just I told you that cooperative sector is only one sector which can solve all these challenges. Before that we may have to consider which type of challenges have to face by the cooperative institution within the 21st century or LPG policy. First of all, the problem of membership. Committee observes that only statistical information cannot develop cooperative movement. Active membership is most important. we have considered in Manchester Principles that uh, people's members' economic participation is most important, and that's why each and every member of the cooperative institution should devote for the cooperative institutions, and such a type of environment we may have to develop. Committee also observes that within the last 100 years, we failed to develop such a type of virtues among the members to active membership. This is one of the most important problem before us. Next one, interference of government. In a cooperative institution, we may have to give freedom to the cooperative institution, cooperators. But in some states, including our states, that states interference in the development of cooperative institution is increasing day by day, and sometimes that interference becomes obstacle in the development of cooperative institutions, and that's why this is one of the most important problem before cooperative institution in changing environment. As we are living in 21st century, if we want to develop cooperative sector to compete with the other sectors, we may have to solve this problem. Next one, how we can develop the professionalism among the cooperative institutions. When cooperative institution established, this is the duty of all the board members of the board of director, including the staff, that we may have to develop the commercial attitude. In 21st century, commercial attitude is most important. While developing commercial attitude, we do not consider that we may have to minimize the economic welfare of the members. Including the economic welfare of each and every member, we may have to inculcate the professionalism among the cooperatives. That is necessary in 21st century, isn't it? And for that purpose, cooperative sector has to face several challenges. Next one problem is scarcity of capital. This is basic problem before cooperative institutions in our country. We don't have sufficient capital for developing cooperative movement in our country. Different type of cooperative institutions have not grown up satisfactorily due to the lack of capital. And so that how this problem should be solved within the globalization, privatization and liberalization, this problem is acute problem, and this problem should be solved systematically. Next one, how to minimize the production cost and managerial cost. This is also most important thing. Friends, in the state like Maharashtra, which is most progressive state in India in respect of cooperative movement, the management cost is increasing day by day. How we can save the management cost? How we can save the production cost in respect of cooperative institutions? This management cost should be minimized. Without minimizing management costs, the cooperative institutions like cooperative sugar factories, district central cooperative banks, state cooperative banks, these large scale cooperative institutions has large scale managerial cost, and this managerial cost should be minimized. How this managerial cost should be minimized is a challenge and problem before cooperative institutions, and all these problems clears that these are not only the problems, these are the challenges also. How to create productive as well as active members is also challenge before cooperative institutions. Next one, how to minimize the government sector's role, government's interference. How to develop the professionalism among the cooperative institution. How to attract the members for the development of cooperative institution is also most important challenge before us. How to solve the problem of capital. Problem of capital is acute problem for all cooperative institutions in all states of India. But this problem should be solved to fight with the global challenges. And last one, I told you that how we can reconstruct the management of the cooperative institution. This is also most important thing. While discussing the recommendation laid down by Shivajirao Patil committee, we must have to consider that how cooperative sector is running in 21st century. Up to 2004, whichever situation arises before cooperative sector, this situation is a obstacle of cooperative institutions, development of cooperative institutions. For that purpose, committee has observed that these are the problems and challenges before cooperative institution. When we overcome these problems through variety of measures, through variety of solutions, then we can develop cooperative institutions, and people as well as members can attract towards the cooperative institutions. Otherwise, in a developing country like India, cooperative movement does not work for last man, that is poorest man, that is for the betterment of farmers, poor peoples. As we assume that cooperative sector is most important sector which can abolish the casteism, abolish the economic inequality, increases the employment. These objectives and goals of millennium should be solved with the help of such a type of environment, such type of changing nature of environment. And that's why the problems and challenges before cooperative institutions in 21st century are most important. According to Shivajirao Patil Committee report, before considering the development of cooperative movement in our country, we may have to know the environment in which cooperative sector is running, environment in which cooperative sectors defective management is going on, and when we overcome such type of challenges and problems, then we can develop cooperative sector competitively with the private sector and other sectors. And the recommendation laid down by Shivajirao Patil Committee are based on such type of environment. This is basic information, friends. For when the question may be asked to you in respect of explain the Shivajirao Patil Committee's report, we may have to consider whichever information we have studied today is within the 2 or 3 paras. This is basic information. Without consideration of basic information, we do not clear the recommendation laid down by Shivajirao Patil Committee report. On tomorrow's lecture, next lecture, we will consider the actual recommendation laid down by Shivajirao Patil Committee in 2005. Thanks.